coming down now to the finish line, and it looks like it's going to be from Uzbekistan, Islam Abdusalamov, who has crossed the line first. He's going to cross the line in, well, we don't have the official time yet, but he is a clear winner. So he will be through to the semi-finals, and oh, you can see the displeasure there from the athlete from Brazil, who unfortunately he will have to settle for second. So while it is head-to-head racing, the time is also important because that will determine the semi-final lineup where they go. But that is a good clear win there for Abdusalamov from Uzbekistan in the first of the quarterfinals. So he is through to the semi-final this afternoon. The first of two Uzbek athletes who are competing. Martin Marinov has joined me here in the commentary box. Marty, that was an impressive performance from the Uzbek athlete. He was the fastest qualifier this morning, of course, by a long way, and has backed up that form this afternoon, looking very strong.
Yeah, these kids, they pedal really fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, watching them, I would say the top level athletes. And
well, let's see how let's see how the second Uzbek athlete can go. He's in this race. It is Shokjong Mukhamedev, and he is against Jai Bowen from China in this second quarterfinal.
Yeah, Chinese second run was quite fast compared to his first run. Maybe now he's going to do PB again.
And if you're just joining us, my name's Ross Solly. The conditions here, it's still very sunny, although there is some cloud out to the left, but it's sunny overhead, but the wind is still a factor. Marty, I know you were out during the lunch break. Will it be playing much of an impact, as you can see there?
Yeah, the wind is really strong. Obviously, the waves are not as big, that much more than the strength of the wind. It is disturbing, especially the canoe guys.
Yeah, adds to the challenge, that's for sure. As we get down now towards the middle stages of the race, we'll get an idea as they cross over in the middle who is leading it. At this stage, it's the Uzbeki athlete who holds a slight advantage.
The Chinese was ahead, but he did really wide turn. Like he
really wide turn.
He almost hit the pontoon over there. So
he needs to really tighten up for the final turn home.
Yeah.
At the moment, though, it's the Uzbeki athlete, though, who's holding a decisive advantage. It is head-to-head, this race, so really whoever crosses the line first, that's what it's all about. We're not. It's not times anymore, although times will determine their semi-final ranking. But as long as you get across the line first, then you are through to the semis. It looks like
it'll be close race.
It will be close, but I think the Uzbeki, he will
Yeah.
finish strongly. Look at him, he's looking very powerful in the water. So that's two Uzbeki athletes, Marty, who are both now safely through to the semi-finals. Good strong finish from the Chinese athlete, but unfortunately, as you said, I think he lost it on the turns a little bit. Couldn't quite keep it. First turn he went really wide and lost a valuable second or two, which has ultimately cost him. So two Uzbekis safely through to the semi-finals. You can tell there by the times, Marty, they're a bit slower than this morning. So
far no European in the final, in the quarterfinals. The next one will be the first European.
Yep. Yeah, unlike the women, which are all oh no, there's one. I think there's one non. Oh no, I think they're all European in the women's quarterfinals. Yep. All Europeans in the women's event. The third quarterfinal from Kazakhstan. We have Diaz Bakredin up against, from the Czech Republic, Yuri Minarik. Yuri Minarik having to go through the repechage to get into this quarterfinal. Off and racing now, and it's a good even start.
both guys going pretty close to the turns at the moment. The Czech guy is
gone. He's gone very wide as well, hasn't he?
Yeah. But I mean, obviously this turn it's choppier because the waves they come from the shore as well, from the pontoons.
So closest.
He's still leading.
Yeah, I think the Czech athlete will be just in front, but you would just.
No, I say.
Yeah, I'd say it's a dead heat. So.
Or he lost the balance, the Czech guy.
Just momentarily. Look at him. He's just struggling to get his line back.
He lost the speed.
Yep. So that might affect him. He's also pushing into that breeze. So how much time has he lost here? I think he's dropped back a little bit.
Couple of seconds.
Yeah, exactly. But he will have the advantage of the strong run home. But at this stage, you would just give it to the Kazakh athlete, Dias Abakradid, and he is just in front, coming into the final buoy, and then the run home. Looks like he's stretched his advantage a little bit here.
Yep.
He will be very hard to peg back now. He will have the smell of victory in his nostrils. Martin Marinov.
Yeah.
It can be a very powerful smell. It's an aphrodisiac, in fact, some say.
It is when you see you leading.
And there he goes, crossing the line. Good finish, good consistent race. As you said, the Czech athlete looked like he lost it a little bit in the middle stages there, which caused him some drama. So, still no Europeans through, and this is the last chance, the final quarter-final. Cesar Soares, who was very good this morning, it must be said, up against the Argentinian Joaquin Lukács. You would think Soares on his form this morning should be good enough to get through, but we're seeing a lot of very interesting, a lot of very different results.
In these conditions, you don't know.
In these conditions, yeah, you just don't really want to make a bold prediction about how this might go. Canoeicf.com, a lot of you are on there already watching. If you're watching elsewhere, that is the place to go if you want to get the latest information on this event. All the results from this morning's start list for tomorrow, all the information you need.
It's on the last quarterfinal.
The final quarterfinal, here we go. The last race to determine the last athlete through to the semi-finals later on this afternoon.
Portugal or Argentina?
Yeah. I mean, look, it would be fantastic with Argentina hosting the Youth Olympic Games for them to get through in their own right and to be in semi-final action. But the Portuguese, of course, big year for them, Martin, as you know. They're hosting
8 events.
A couple of big world championships, European Games, European canoeing, university canoeing games, all sorts of things.
That's a 9 one.
Yeah. So many events that they're hosting in Portugal this year. And we know that they've got a very enthusiastic committee, a very enthusiastic federation behind all that.
Is a little ahead.
He's a little ahead at this stage, the athlete from Portugal, Cesar Soares, so he may well be the lone
for
European.
both of them, the second turn will be in the wrong side. So let's see who will manage. The Portuguese lost speed. Did some mistake. Okay, still leading.
Still in front though. Yeah. Comfortably. He's really
still at front.
Yeah, he's pushing it. He's getting the extremes. He's got that boat on a heck of an angle going there around the corner.
Yeah, that's the way in canoeing.
Yeah,
that helps a little.
Yeah, but you've got to know your stuff, don't you? You've got to be pretty confident of your balance.
Yeah, of course. Okay, he's well ahead.
Yep, and this is going to be a pretty good time too.
Oh yeah.
Pretty good time for Soares now, coming down to the finish line.
But he was only one qualifying in the bad conditions, so I think he got a really good chance to win the competition.
Yep.
He's well ahead.
Yep. So there you go. Soares is the fourth of the semi-finalists to go through. So you have 2 athletes from Uzbekistan, 1 from Kazakhstan, 1 from Portugal in the semi-finals. Islamjan Absalomov from Uzbekistan, Shakhtidon Mukhamedev from Uzbekistan, Dias Abakradin from Kazakhstan, and Cesar Soares from Portugal. That is your semi-final lineup in the men's C1 a little later on this afternoon. Marty Marinov, Are you willing to put your reputation on the line and tell me from what you've seen so far?
For the canoe?
Who do you think in the men's canoe? Your event. This is your event.
Yeah, I think the Portuguese guy.
You're tipping the Portuguese.
Yeah, Suarez is the best one. Cesar?
Yep, Cesar Suarez. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's the best one so far. What I see, it's comfortable. He had 2 runs, both of them quite solid runs. So
okay. Well, I'm going to stack my reputation on Abdusalamov.
Yeah,
the Uzbeki. I've thought both his runs were very impressive.
Yeah, as well.
So far today.
Here's another one. I mean, yeah. All these 4 guys are quite strong.
Yep. It's going to be a great afternoon of semi-final racing that's coming up a little bit later on. But now we turn our attention to the women's K1 head-to-head qualifiers.
Two Hungarians.
2 Hungarians, a Czech, a German, an Italian, a Ukrainian, and a Russian, and a Slovakian. There's going to be some good racing here. You know, I'm going to stick my neck on the line here. I think the German, Gina Zint, was very impressive in the toughest of the conditions this morning to get through. In the time she got through, I thought was very good.
Correct.
And I really liked the look of the Italian, although she had to come through the repechage, but she looked quite strong in the repechage. Whether she's still got enough left in her to...
But also this, the 2 Hungarians, they look quite strong.
And you'd be a crazy man, and neither you nor I are crazy. Nobody has ever said, Martin Marinov, that you're crazy. I've never heard anyone say it.
No.
You'd have to be a crazy man to tip against the Hungarians. Correct?
Yeah. Last year I did and I lost.
Yeah. Well, that was an interesting year last year. So, the quarterfinal lineups. The first one we have a Hungarian against a Russian. The second quarterfinal we have a Slovakian against a Czech. The third we have a Hungarian against an Italian, and the fourth and final quarterfinal is Germany against Ukraine. What an incredible afternoon of racing, an incredible afternoon of quarterfinals. It doesn't get much better than this. Does it make the hair stand up on the back of your neck, Marty?
Yeah. Correct.
I've got to say, if you're listening at home, he looks more enthusiastic than he sounds. He's, you know what he's like, Marty. It's the Eastern European way. You try not to show your emotions too much, especially if you're a bloke.
Excuse me, I'm an Australian.
You're a Chinese Australian.
No, real Australian.
Yeah. So it's starting to get a little bit overcast now, Marty. I think the weather forecast for tomorrow is not as great as today, and that's saying something because today's been a bit windy and a bit cold. I think tomorrow could be even worse. So I feel, because tomorrow we've got the women's C1, of course, which will be a challenge if it's in tricky conditions.
It's interesting. The whole Europe is nice and warm and hot. Even in Russia, Moscow, it's 25 degrees.
Even in Lausanne, it's warm today.
And here it's spring. Windy spring.
All right, here we go. The first of the women's quarterfinals. Boat A is Esther Rentesi from Hungary. Boat B is Margarita Elfimova from Russia, and they're off underway. The Hungarian will start as the favourite, but you can never underestimate the Russians. The Russians, very, very powerful when it comes to sprint canoe. I know you've done a bit of work with the Russian teams. What do you know about Margarita Elfimova, Martin?
I'm just checking the weather forecast for next days. I think, as usual, when competition finishes, the weather will become nicer and warmer.
Yeah. So Elfimova from Russia?
Yeah, she is from Russia.
Yeah. Good?
I mean, of course it's good.
She's into the quarterfinals, so she's...
Yeah, it's definitely it's a good one, and I think at the moment she's a little behind.
Yeah, I mean, she's found herself in a tough quarterfinal, no doubt about that.
Yeah, that's okay. It's not the most fair way to set up the quarterfinals. Well, that's that heat.
It's going to be close, actually. Wow. That is a dead heat coming across the middle part. So
it's not the most fair way to set up the quarterfinals. Realistically, she have to be the fastest with the slowest. But we did it in the fastest with the fifth one.
Yeah.
so we keep the competition. Like otherwise, if there is a big gap,
Yeah.
that is not interesting for the audience. So that's why we did set up the first with the fifth, second with the sixth, and going like this.
I think Elfimova's just run into a little bit of trouble getting around that first buoy. Marty, she might have lost a valuable bit of real estate there, I think, and we're now seeing
Hungarian girl is
the Hungarian girl is powering powering ahead now, showing the class that we would expect from the Hungarian female paddlers. Esther Rendesi coming down now. She will be a comfortable winner of the first quarterfinal. Just the Russian, she was up there, she was in the mix, but that first buoy, she looked like she might have got too close to it and had to correct herself on that. In a race like this, you cannot afford to have to spend time to correct your line. 149.9 is the time. Just interestingly, put that to one side. We'll store that away in the memory bank. 150.05 is the official time, because that will determine the seedings for the semi-final. 150.05 for Esther Rendesi from Hungary. Now we have Katarina Peksikova from Slovakia against her near neighbour from the Czech Republic. Once upon a time they were one.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, but not anymore, obviously. Now from the Czech Republic, Adela Hazova.
There's some away from the course, from the rescue boat.
The what?
From the rescue boat, there are waves. I'm not sure I'm going for them to wait. I see the chief official, it's asking them to.
They should wait, shouldn't they? What is the rescue boat doing out there?
No, they started.
So she's competing, so she'll have waves to go against? Yes. Okay. Right. Hopefully everything will die down by the time she gets there.
So, all days they were one country, Czechoslovakia.
Yes,
now the Czech
now it's Czech and Slovakia.
So, one of them will qualify.
Yes, indeed. And the Czech, the Slovak was the fastest.
Wow, she's going through the waves. Good skills, but that.
Oh, she's gone in.
Nah, that was because of the waves.
Okay, so what are they going to do about that? What are they going to do about that? They can't allow that to happen, surely.
No. And now they're going to make waves for next one.
If that was a problem, why was that boat out there?
No.
This is.
I can't tell you. I didn't have any explanations because I didn't have to do anything with the rescuing people.
Okay, but now we've had, just to bring you up to speed, we've had an athlete go into the water. Katarina Peksikova has gone into the water from Slovakia, and
okay, now there are two rescue boats that make waves.
You heard Martin Marinov say even before that race started that there might be a problem with waves from the rescue boat, and it looked like she got into a bit of trouble with those waves, and it's tipped her into the water. Now, obviously, that is not a fair situation. If what you're saying is correct, then that is not a fair situation.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, what's happened is that the other athlete is still out there on the course and is going around. I assume she just has to keep going and try to finish the race.
And try to get good time.
And try to get a good time. But this is... Okay.
48, 49, that's not much off Hungarian girl.
Yeah. Okay, so she's finished in around 154. We will watch this space. This will be interesting. I suspect that we might have a problem there. Martin Marinov is going to go and check it out in his official capacity as an ICF manager. But just to bring you up to speed, so we had the situation there where it appeared that a rescue boat went across the course before the race started and possibly created some waves, and as a result we believe it resulted in one of the paddlers capsizing during the race. So we will wait and find out what the official ruling is on that, but it certainly looked to be a problem. It looked to be a problem for the athlete, and let's just wait and see. false start now. So we just had a false start in the third. In the third of the quarterfinals. This is between the second Hungarian competitor, Laura Uzfalvi, and from Italy, Lucretia Zeroni. The third, and they're off safely this time. So let's see what happens in terms of how this race pans out. Both of these athletes have looked impressive. Of course, Zeroni had to go through the repechage, but looked very strong in the repechage, and we know how strong the Hungarian paddler Ufalvi is. So heading into the first bend, and it does look at this stage as though it's the Italian who's taken out the early lead, gone out very strong, and a nice tight turn there for the Italian. So she's looking really strong heading into the center spread, the center straight. She should cross marginally ahead as they go through the halfway stage, and wow, looking very, very composed, very strong. She's just got to hold this race together. Look at that, she's opened up a big gap at the halfway stage, so the Hungarian girl would see the work that she's got in front of her. She's going to have to dig really deep and hope that the Italian may have gone out too hard too early, but at this stage no sign at all that she is having any problems. So this is an impressive paddle so far from Lucretia Zeroni from Italy. She was good in the repechage, and now she's got to try and hold on now, because we know the Hungarian is very strong. We know that she knows how to paddle a timed race, and it's going to be actually very close. They're both coming around the second to last buoy at around the same time. They're now going around the last buoy, and they head for home at exactly the same time. This is going to be a big finish. The Italian has the wind behind her, but the Hungarian looks like she's coming home the stronger of the two. It's going to be an incredibly close finish. At this stage, it may be the Italian, it may be the Hungarian. I think the Hungarian may get through. It is, oh! It is almost a dead heat. That is unbelievable. What a finish, Martin Marinov.
That was the closest race.
That is, we will have to wait for the official times to come up, but that was as close can get. The Hungarian, the back half of her race has been incredibly strong. The Italian, who maybe went out so hard so early. Oh, it's gone to the Hungarian. Can you believe it? By 7/100ths of a second. Yeah. The Hungarian has just prevailed over the Italian in a blanket finish. That is an amazing race. That is the race of the day so far. Oh, you feel desperately sorry for the Italian, who went out so hard but just couldn't quite hold on. And now here we are.
The course B didn't start.
No,
I was waiting for fast start. So
nope, they're off.
They're off.
Wow, that is a big race. So here we go. In the final quarterfinal, we have Gina Zint from Germany against Ivana Derchenko from Ukraine. Gina Zint, again, of course, very impressive this morning. In the worst of the conditions, she posted a very fast time.
So the Ukrainian girl was waiting to fast start, and she lost a couple of seconds. But let's see what will happen now.
Okay, so she looks like she's managed to pick up those seconds.
Yeah, she did.
They're very evenly matched at the moment as we come down towards the middle part of the race. I think it's the German.
Sometimes the bad starts, they motivate athletes to do more during the race.
Maybe work a bit harder than you would normally. They are going to cross almost identical. Whoa, look at that. Just the German with her nose just in front at this stage. Oh boy, can we stand another close race? My heart is still beating from the last race. It was so close. But here we go into the final bend. Martin Marinov. So much depends on how they tackle this. It looks like the German has snuck away to a slight lead here, but she has
she's slowed down.
She has had the wind behind her back, so she has now got to turn around and head into this breeze. and try and get home Gina Zint from Germany, ahead of
she's still ahead.
Ivana Deychenko from Ukraine. At this stage, it's Gina Zint. She's looking very comfortable. I think she's going to be able to hold it together. She's coming through very nicely. As you said, Marty, her time is going to be good. That is a convincing result there for the German. She's going to go across in about 150, 151, 150.7. Unofficially is the time for Gina Zint. So a good result there. So what we have from all of that. Now this, of course, is unofficial. We're waiting to find out, Marty, have you had any update on what's happened to the girl who capsized? Is she going to be... What's happening to her result?
At the moment, nothing. Let's see if there's any protest from the officials.
Okay.
Which if they probably, if they place protest, then the jury will decide.
Okay, so at this stage, we have Esther Rendezi from Hungary, winner of the first quarter-final.
Two Hungarians, yeah?
We have Adela Hazova from Czech Republic. We have Laura Ufvalvi from Hungary. And we have Gina Zint from Germany.
There's the rerun races, the guys that didn't finish the first or second.
Okay, yep.
That's just for
rankings.
Ranking, so we do have the start list over here.
So just repeating, we are awaiting if there may be no fallout at all, but we had the race with the Slovak athlete capsizing, possibly as a result of waves on the course created by a rescue boat, but we don't know that for sure. It's merely speculation on the behalf of Martin Marinov and myself. It's just what we observed, but Marty did call it before the race started. He did say that it looked like the rescue boat had gone too close to the course and maybe created some waves. But and then we saw the boat capsize, but that's just speculation on our behalf. And I have no experience of being out there and dealing with waves and what rescue boats might do. My colleague, though, does, and he would know that whether that was a direct result of those waves, the capsizing.
Yeah, if I was a chief official, if I was a team leader of the Czech,
Slovakian team,
I would protest it.
Okay, well, let's wait and see what happens. I mean, I don't think they would rerun the race, but they would probably let her go around and time. Possibly, it would be a bit much to ask, I think, the poor athlete from the Czech Republic to have to do another race.
Yeah, it's difficult to say.
Yeah.
What will be the competition decision, competition committee decision?
And there was just seen on the screen now, you can see some of the emotion. One of the athletes there, I think it was the athlete from Ukraine, head in her hands, quite emotional.
So we have re-race Italian and Thailand.
So these are both athletes who either capsized or getting a chance now to.
I still don't see the second one.
No, this is the athlete from Thailand who's out there at the moment.
Yep, but Italian is not here. So.
My apologies. It's so this
Thailand.
Yep. Pinath Kutsuk from Thailand. He's meant to be going against Matteo Pistoni from Italy, but Pistoni looks like is a no-show. So this comes down to Pinath Kutsuk from Thailand racing against himself, but just trying to set a decent time that he can then use.
Or at least finish the race.
And finish the race, yeah, exactly. But then he can then use that for his overall ranking points as he heads into the obstacle course tomorrow. Yeah. Sorry, the day after tomorrow.
I guess the Europeans, Italians, they figure out if the guy finished last or second last doesn't have chance to qualify for the finals in Buenos Aires, or maybe that's the reason they didn't let him race. But if I was a coach, I would allow everyone to race. Just
Yeah, just for
they
the
need
experience.
experience. And
Yep, exactly. So we're seeing a nice strong performance here from the athlete from Thailand, Pinath Kutsuk.
yeah, he's doing really well.
Yeah, yep, it's very neat and tidy as he heads around the final turn. You can spend a bit of time working on technique here, Marty, and dealing with conditions that he may or may not be all that familiar with. And here he comes down to the finish line. His time's going to be around the 2:10 mark by the time he crosses the line, which is 2:09.9.
Same like me yesterday.
Yep, that's probably right. 2:09.9.
We're the same age as him, aren't we?
Yeah.
He's 15, I'm 51, so just turn the numbers other way around.
Yeah, well done. Congratulations there to Pinath Kutsuk from Thailand. And yes, it did not start there. DNS alongside Matthew
So we have 30 minutes break now.
Okay.
6:45 are the semi-finals. We have two Uzbekistan
16:45.
C1 boys against each other. So one Uzbek will be on the final. Another semi-final is Kazakhstan and Portugal.
Yes, so that's the draw for the the men's semi-final. The two Uzbeks up against each other. Can you believe it? Islamjon Abdusalamov and Shokjong Mukhamedev. They're up against each other. And the second semi-final will be the Kazakh paddler Dias Bakridin up against Marty's tip for the overall title, Portugal's Cesar Soares. That is down to start at 16:45, so around half an hour, just under half an hour from now. Join us then.
Mr. Ross, welcome back. We've got a few minutes to the semi-finals. C1 head-to-head.
Talk about have a laugh. Bloke's finally turned up to do some work and now he's giving me a hard time. Yeah, we're coming up for the semi-finals. And the way the draw has turned out, in the men's competition we have the two Uzbekis up against each other. In the women's competition we have the two Hungarians up against each other. That's the way it has panned out. So, mate against mate, state against state, as
Yeah,
they
but
say.
that's a good thing. One of them will make the final.
Yep.
Otherwise, maybe both of them will be in the small final.
Yep. And
So these four guys, they have to race twice now. One semi-final and then one final. Big final and small final. Oh, small final and big final.
Yep.
I think the names of the finals are still bronze medal final and gold medal final, but at the moment here, this competition, there are not going to be any medals because it's qualification for the games.
That is reward enough, Marty, one might say.
Yes, I know, but the name of the finals probably will be small final and big final, not gold medal and bronze medal.
Yeah. So we are not far away from a start. It's the men's C1 semi-finals first of all.
Yep, 2 minutes to the start.
If anything, it looks, Marty, like the wind might have dropped a little bit.
Yep,
The wave side, the wind has dropped, but the waves are still. If anything, the waves look like it looks even more choppier now than it was.
Yeah, the wind dropped, but it's not. It's not
still.
Yeah.
It's not still. It's not
Still
like
it's quite strong.
This morning when we first got here, when it started, it was perfect, absolutely perfect for racing. I know you had a look. I'm going to have a look now for the weather,
I believe
the updated weather forecast.
15 minutes after the last final, the wind will drop.
Really?
That's our sport.
That's today or tomorrow you're talking about?
Today? No, tomorrow we'll be winning again.
Yeah. So we are excited. Of course.
Are you?
Yeah, I am excited. I'm looking forward to this. I think we have in both events we have 4 very, very good athletes.
I'm not sure am I excited, but
Right, but
watching these guys, I feel cold. They got like only their beep numbers.
I know. Look at them. That wind. I mean, we are sitting here. We are indoors, Marty and
with
I.
jackets.
I've got a shirt on, a tracksuit top, and a jacket over the top of that.
Same.
And Marty, and he's carrying a bit of extra weight from me as well.
Yeah.
We are cold, and you look out there on the water, and these chaps, these guys in the boat, they've just got a singlet on, and they are sitting out there waiting to start. Of course, once they get going, they'll feel warm enough.
The starboard out of the water, so.
No, except there's a.
Actually,
Please don't put that boat across there. Don't do that again. He's done it again.
Rescue boat.
The rescue boat is going straight across the course.
But they have to create job for themselves.
Yeah, but
they give enough waves to the athletes, then the athletes capsize and they go to save them.
okay.
To
Well,
rescue
hopefully,
them. They create job.
hopefully.
Okay, you put money on the first one.
Yeah, look, I've said
course A.
I've said boat A. I think that, and they are
Look
racing.
at this guy. At what you guy is the fastest so far.
Yeah,
He's really little,
he's tiny.
tiny guy. Yeah.
Yeah, so he packs a punch. He is a very, very finely tuned athlete. He is. Look at him. He is. Well, I wouldn't say a tiny guy. But he's not.
It is tiny.
He is tiny. Yeah.
Compared to other guys.
He's
it's
certainly
much more small than
It
them.
looks as though he is considerably smaller than his Uzbeki opponent, his Uzbeki teammate, but
Yeah, completely. See, the other guys is much
he's much
bigger,
bigger.
and stronger.
boat B, we'll have a look at him in a moment, but this is boat A. This is who I think
The fastest, yeah.
I think
so
he
far.
will be the guy to win the competition. Islam John
He's-
Absolomov.
He's leading.
He's leading and looking strong. And if you have a look here in a moment, you'll see them when they go past, the comparison in the size of the two athletes. But the athlete in boat B, they're about to cross over now.
I can smell some
He's
negotiation here.
he's much what?
I can smell they don't pedal maximum at the moment. They're just cruising.
Yeah, oh, I think you're right.
Yeah,
You reckon they're holding something back for the...
They're saving power for the final. Yeah, I can see that.
Well, yeah, look at boat A.
Both of them, they're cruising.
Yeah. So has boat B conceded then that he couldn't win? I mean, how have they come to this arrangement?
Probably the fastest, I mean, the first one, the lane A.
What they know, Marty, is that they're guaranteed of getting a quota.
Yeah.
So they've got a quota for...
Then maybe they have internal competition.
And then they'll have a competition when they get home.
They decided who was the fastest so far. He goes to the final. So.
But you're definitely right. They're not pushing themselves.
You see the time now?
Look at that. They are both going well within themselves. Marty, that is a good call, well spotted. And now that you look at them, they're definitely not pushing themselves to the extreme. In fact, their time is going to be well over 2 minutes.
Yep.
That is slow. That wouldn't have even got them through this morning. So there you go. Very, very casual.
Yeah. So one goes to the A final, other goes to the B final. Don't cross the line. Don't cross the line. Where he's going?
Where is he going? Straight over the line.
Oh well.
Yeah. So
He didn't.
he's left a lot there. He's left a lot. He's left a lot to fuel in the tank for the final, as Martin Marinov correctly pointed out. They both raced well within themselves. I'm sure that these guys in the next semi-final would have watched that and they would have known that those guys weren't pushing themselves.
Let's see the Portuguese guy now.
Yeah, these two don't have a choice. They are going to have to go like the clappers because they have to win this semi-final to get through to the final. So they know that there's a guy waiting for them who has not even extended himself in his semi-final, which will fill them with dread. But off they go. So here we have on screen Cesar Soares from Portugal up against, from Kazakhstan, Dias Bakaridin. Marty, you're firmly in the Portuguese camp here. You think that Soares has the goods? Marty's just negotiating where he's going to go for dinner tonight. So Soares is at this stage
Soares,
holding
yeah, he's my favorite, but now saving energy in the final will be within 30 minutes, I think.
Yep.
Could make difference. I don't know. I hope not.
No, it certainly was a very casual first semi-final, but these two.
That's part of the game, it's competition. That's why.
Yeah, you put the two against each other, and it'll be interesting to see if the Hungarians do the same thing in the women's race.
Yeah, it's interesting. They complain, like we had a complaint from Uzbekistan. They wanted them to be in different semi-finals. So if they were indifferent, they couldn't go casual.
No. So maybe it's worked in their favour.
Yeah, I think so. They use the negatives as turn the negatives to positives.
Okay, this race is turning out to be a bit quicker. Your man might be under a bit of pressure here, although I think the Kazakh athlete got a little bit close to that boy there, unfortunately, and had to correct his line.
It is close race.
But it is going to be close. This is going to be a good finish. Remember, the winner goes straight through to the final. And it is, at this stage, it is the Kazakh who is slightly ahead. Oh, Martin Marinov, your man, is going to have to dig deep here. He knows. He looks across the course now. He looked across to see what was happening. It is going to be very, very close. I think the Portuguese athlete will get there. Yes, he does. Soares, a good final stretch there to get... but, gee, they had to extend a bit of energy there to get there, so he won't be happy about having to do that.
Oh, he saved on the turn.
Yeah.
He wasn't pushing hard, I guess.
Yep.
After the first half, he saw he's winning.
Yep.
He gave a little easy. That could cost him the final spot, but he made it.
Yep. No, that's a good effort.
154, wow.
Much
no, 153.
About 10 seconds faster than the previous race.
Yeah.
But don't read anything into that.
No.
Do not read anything into that time difference. All right. So we know the men's final will be between Uzbekistan's Islamjan Abdusalamov, and he'll be up against
so far
Portugal's Cesar Soares.
You and I,
we've got it right so far.
I guess they were good.
Yep. And in the women, who do you think? Who are you?
I put money one of the Hungarians will be in the final.
Well, they are up against each other. I'm going to go for Gina Zint to cause.
Yeah, I would say
to win
Germany, Hungary in the final.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to go for the Hungarian or which Hungarian though? You can't just say Germany, Hungary.
Oh, the first one.
So Esther.
Yeah,
Esther Rendesi. Okay. Yep.
that's what I think.
Yeah, I think you're right there. And I'm thinking Gina Zint from Germany in the second semi-final, and I'm tipping Gina Zint to win the overall.
In these conditions, with some tricky points around the turns.
Yep. Anything
you
can
never
happen.
know. I mean, that's a good part of this format, because on the straight line, you know who is the strongest, and then it's not much unknown.
Yeah, there's not a lot of unknowns.
Surprises. But here with this format, there could be surprises.
Who was it that talked about known knowns and known unknowns? Was it Dick Cheney or Donald Rumsfeld? Wondering Donald Rumsfeld.
I think I'm a little younger than you. I'm not really familiar with this.
What do you mean? Wasn't that long ago? I know one of our viewers will probably know. Just hit us up on our live stream on Facebook. You can send us messages, by the way, if you've got questions you'd like to ask Marty Marinov, who's here in the commentary box with me. We can access our messages on Facebook. If you go to our live stream there, where we are streaming on Facebook, if you have questions, chuck them in there, and we'll try and answer them if we can. You can also tell us, was it Donald Rumsfeld or Dick Cheney who talked about known knowns and known unknowns and unknown knowns? In that,
okay, that's good.
They're talking about weapons of mass destruction at the time and whether they existed or not. It was quite a baffling news conference.
I think we had some complaint from Ukrainian Federation.
Yeah.
There was some malfunction of the star system during
they claimed. Yeah.
That it's too late now. They have 10 minutes, so I think.
Well, they did complain. They did get it in time, but the jury looked at it and weren't convinced that it was a problem with the start system. So
okay.
Yeah. That's what happened. Just to bring people up to speed with that one. Can't believe we've got 3 more days of this to go. This is going to be great.
For some reason, I don't like these big numbers. You cannot see the athletes' uniforms. You cannot recognize which country they're from.
Yeah. Well, there's no markings on their bibs to suggest where they're from.
Yeah.
And the boats don't have any flags on or anything. So all we're going on is, as we can see here, 2 Hungarians. Boat A is Esther Rendesi. Boat B is Laura Ufavi.
And both Hungarians in different color uniforms.
Oh yes, have a look here, Marty. I think they're not pushing themselves, are they?
I don't know. They looked a little sharper on the last race.
They certainly looked sharper this morning, and in
the girl from lane B is pushing hard.
Yeah. Look, they're going. Ooh, there was nearly a collision there with a girl down there who's trained.
Yeah.
They are letting the girls get very close training. That was a bit silly. That was a bit dangerous. What was she doing out there? Goodness me. Stay away from the course. Okay, so yes, here we go. We're coming down to the middle stretches. Look, I
think now both of them are cruising.
They are cruising. There's no doubt about that. They're not exerting themselves as much as they did this morning, and similar to the men's event, they don't really need to.
Yeah. I mean, okay.
The way the ruling is, the way the system goes, Hungary are guaranteed of a quota.
Only one of them qualify to the finals.
And they can only take one athlete to Buenos Aires. So maybe they're going a bit harder than the Uzbekis went in the men's event. But let's have a look at this time. That will give us a better perspective of how hard they've pushed themselves.
Probably close to 2 minutes.
Well, yeah, and this morning they were going 150. So, look, it's not slow. They're
50.
Yeah. In fact, if you look at, it's going to be Esther Rendesi who gets the chocolates in this race, and her time is going to be around 2 minutes. Yeah, about 2 minutes. So.
58 or something.
Quite a bit slower than this morning's races. And considerably slower for Laura Ulfavi.
A lot of run today. He's running every race from one end of the course to the other end.
That's good. That's the way it should be for coaches.
Yeah, probably he will lose a couple of 100 grams today.
Yep, and there's a photographer coming past who should have worn a hat today. Look at the top of his head.
Yeah.
He will be very sore tonight. He's going to have a very burnt head. Anyway, Gina Zint, this is going to be a close finish, but I think it's going to be, it's Gina Zint now clearing out. Good, strong race by the German girl. I like the cut of her jib.
That will be under 50?
Yeah, I think
somewhere there.
Yeah, I think
under
she's
50.
going to be very hard to beat in the final, except that she's had to have a hard race compared to her Hungarian opponent, but she's gone under 150, so a good clear 10 seconds faster. Faster than the previous semi-final. But
that's not a photographer, that's a coach of the German.
Do not read anything into that, because so Gina Zint 1:49.77 seconds, 10 seconds faster than the previous semi-final, but do not read anything into that, because we had two Hungarians in that first semi-final and they were leaving a little bit.
They want gold medal, so
them,
they save some energy.
Exactly. Yep.
So we have the men finals at what time?
Well, we have the K1 women's head-to-head first. What's this one? This is a rerun. This is from an earlier race, I think, by the look of things. That they're having to do a rerun.
Oh yeah.
Hope you've been enjoying our coverage today. It's the start of what's going to be a great season, Marty, for the ICF for international canoeing. We've got some fantastic sprint events. We've got some fantastic slalom events, marathon, ocean racing, wild water. It's going to be another action-packed season. And I know you've been doing a lot of work with the marathon and the sprint, and Portugal, I mentioned earlier today, hosting some big events later this year. That's going to be pretty exciting, isn't it? Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, August will be really crazy. August, September.
Yeah.
In Portugal, like even in May they got World Cup, Marathon World Cup. Then we have, but the good thing, we have two master championships, one for sprint, one for marathon.
Yep.
And I believe in Portugal they'll be quite massive. A lot of people will be there racing. So yeah, let's see. Unfortunately, it's only a few days before Asian Games, which pretty much with the status of the Olympic Games for the Asian countries, and no one top athlete from Asia will come to the World Championships for sprint. But yeah, that's the way. I believe they will send some athletes, but not the top athletes. Top athletes will be racing from following Wednesday in Palembang, Indonesia.
Yeah, it'll be exciting to see that
so
too.
I'll be traveling from one to other, but for athletes it will be difficult to race one another. So they won't go to the World Championships, which is a little clash. But that's not typical Asian Championships. Usually Asian Games in October, but this time for some reason it's late August. And also we have a couple of clashes between big events. Like this year we have Sprint World Cup in Duisburg just 10 days before European Championships in Belgrade. And at the moment, our information, the European Cup, there's not many countries going there, not many participants, so we want to encourage them, and we want to focus to give more weight on the points. They win the points from the World Cups. We tried to set up a money format that got a lot of cash prizes, and the top guys from the World Championships and World Cups with the points. They'll be invited and will be able to make good prize money at the end of the season just to cover their holiday.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great initiative, and I hope it takes off, and I hope that we get some athletes who are keen to take part, because it'd be a great promotion for our sport. So this is just a rerun of a race. This is a couple of athletes who I think had a spill this morning and are now getting a chance to go out and post a time and to finish, really, as you can see. Not a lot of pressure here on the athletes in terms of whether they win or not. It's the athlete from Turkey, Kokova, who is on screen at the moment, and certainly going out much harder.
Okay, there are a couple of rerun races.
This is Dolga Gulakan from Turkey, who's looking very impressive out there on the water at the moment. The time's going to be quite reasonable too. I think she must have had I think she had a spill this morning in the water, so she's getting a chance to go out now and post a good time. So it should be just over the 2-minute mark for Gulakan from Turkey. Coming through now, around 2:12, 2:11.9 for Gulakan from Turkey. And then we'll be close to the finals. It's going to be an exciting time. I'm looking forward to the finals very much. Tomorrow we've got women's C1 and men's K1. Martin Marinov, and there should be some good racing tomorrow, I think.
Yeah,
especially if the conditions are challenging.
Than today.
Yeah. If the conditions are challenging,
there's more than 80 paddlers in the main K1.
Yeah. Wow. Currently it's 16 degrees here in Barcelona, but there's a wind chill factor which is driving it down a lot. But we don't have any rain forecast at this stage for this afternoon. Tomorrow, it's a bit of a different story. The current weather forecast is for some showers tomorrow, and it'll start early in the morning. There'll be a bit of a break. So we'll take a break and we'll be back for the finals. What have you got the time for the finals, Marty? What time are we due to go in the finals?
I'm pretty sure they'll be today.
Yes, no, but what time? For the gold medal race, we'll be back in around half an hour, I think, for the gold medal races. So come and join us then.
Yep, correctly. Welcome back,
It's
Mr. Ross.
yeah, it's well, there's not medals up for stake, but let's just call it the bronze medal race at the moment.
Small final.
No, small final sounds
Third-
rubbish.
Third place final.
Small final sounds rubbish. I refuse to call it the small final. I'm even going to call it the bronze medal race in
Yeah?
theory.
I'm going to give them bronze medals.
Well, it says here. Look on this on the official format on the official race. It says bronze medal race, gold medal race. So that's what I'm going to go off.
Ciro, just a question for our audience. Is it bronze medal?
No, but that's the gold medal. But I haven't got the bronze medal. We don't call it the small final.
It's not bronze medal. They're not giving them.
Well, it says bronze medal in this, so that's what we're going to go with. Anyway, for you at home wondering, here we are bickering amongst ourselves. All I will tell you is that what we have here is a race between Kazakhstan's Dias Bakridin and Uzbekistan's Shokchakong Mukhamedov.
Okay, I think they're
I think
neighbor countries, but I
they
think
are
the
na-
Uzbekistan will be a little faster.
I would be very surprised if the Uzbeki in boat number B,
Doesn't win.
boat letter B, I've been doing this all day, letters and numbers. Boat letter B I would expect to win, but let's see how we go out here. Here we are, we're underway.
Letter
And
B or number B?
Letter B. We're underway, and it looks at this stage the early advantage is with the Uzbek paddler
With the wind, yeah.
with the wind, Shokchakong Mukhamedov. Not a lot at stake here, of course. Both these countries have
Oh,
locked-
good turn.
yeah, they've
Okay.
locked
That
away
was a
the
very good turn.
locked away the quota for Buenos Aires.
Not really. They have to finish slalom as well.
Of course, yes, exactly.
They got good points.
But they've got very good points. So as we cross down, it's going to be very close.
Wow.
In fact, that is a dead heat.
It's not
A
that
dead
heat.
heat.
Kazakhstan was a little ahead.
Kazakhstan just ahead. So let's see how the Uzbeki athlete, who probably left a little bit in reserve during his semi-final, let's see if that kicks in now in the final stretches, in the final stretch of this race as they come into the final turn. And it is, at this stage, Marty, very, very close. Maybe the Kazakh still has
Yeah.
a
Yes.
slight
correct.
advantage, but not by
He
a
does.
lot. But he does have the wind for the run home. So this is going to come down to the wire, as you would expect. This is what you would hope for in a race of this standard. The third and fourth, the race for third and fourth in what has been a big
With
day
this
of
close
competition.
race, maybe the
Oh, I think
Uzbekistan
maybe the
going to win.
Uzbeki athlete. No, I think it's going.
Kazakhstan still ahead.
Kazakhstan still ahead. It's going to take a big finish from the Uzbeki athlete if he's going to snatch it, but it is going to be Kazakhstan that takes the third
Yeah,
position.
With 1 second, 152,
Yeah, and
153.
a little
Wow.
swim.
Oh, and swim here.
And a swim there for the Uzbeki athlete. So there you go, holding a little bit back in store in the semi-final. Didn't do a lot of good for their athlete from Uzbekistan, who has finished fourth, but all credit to Dias Bakridin from Kazakhstan, who finishes in third position in the men's C1, sorry, the men's C1 Youth Olympic Games qualification.
Now the rescue boat will come in place. We'll
Yep.
make more ways for the gold medal. 52.8, 53.8. 1 second difference.
So that was quite a good race.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, unfortunately for Uzbekistan, who may be have been hoping for 2 medals here, they've just finished with the one.
The rescue boats are good just in making wash. They're not really good rescue people.
They're doing a good job. Look at that. They've got him in now.
Now
They're
they're
getting him
going
up
to
into the boat.
Pull his shoulder.
Nope. Don't pull my shoulder out, he says. Just get me into the boat. You can probably almost stand
Why
there.
they
can you?
just don't pull?
How hard can it be to get into a boat? Come on. Oh, he's twisted his arm. Goodness me.
I told you. That's what all the rescue they do.
Yeah. Anyway, he's in the boat now.
And his C1 is floating. Maybe
he's-
disturb the next race, so
Well,
they have to take care of the C1 as
His
well.
C1 is heading down the course still. So now the athletes getting into place.
No, they cannot get on the place. The C1 is on the way.
Yeah, well, they've got to wait, don't they? Because they've got to clear this boat out of the way. But this is the gold medal race, even though there's not a gold medal here. But it's Marty Marinov's selection from Portugal. Cesar Soares against Rossoli's selection. Islam John Abdusalamov from Uzbekistan. Marinov v Soli in the tipsters selection trials. You still feeling confident about your man from Portugal?
I mean, doesn't matter who I put the money, I'm losing. I never win bets. So I'm sure you're the winner.
No. But the athletes are waiting now. We've just got to wait for the rogue canoe to be removed from the course.
It's going to take another hour.
No, they're out of the way now. And they're off and racing. So Soares from Portugal got a very good start, but it's the Uzbeki who gets into stride the quickest. He looks like he's into his stroke very quickly.
Yep.
And going strongly.
The skinny guy is going really fast.
Well, you've mentioned before, he is, compared to a lot of the other athletes, he's quite tiny. But he obviously packs a punch.
Interesting.
Marty Marinov. Ooh, a bit of a splash there,
close,
a bit of a misstroke there for in rowing you might call that catching a crab, but I don't think you call that in canoeing, do you?
Nice turn. But the Portuguese guy is not big as well. He's little guy as well.
Yep. Okay, this is going to be very close. We'll get a bit of a picture here as they come down to cross in the middle of the course. At this stage, it is the Uzbeki who is ahead. But we have more than half of the race still to go. So crossing the line now, 54 seconds. So very fast first half of the race. And very close when they crossed in the middle there. So
it's a little half second for the Uzbeki guy.
Yeah, the Uzbeki guy is in the lead, but Portuguese paddler Soares still has a little bit of wind behind him, and he'll go into this corner with the wind at his back. It is a cross breeze, so it's pushing him across now. He has the wind behind him, whereas we have Abdusalamov from Uzbekistan into the breeze, coming around the corner.
Yeah, I think, Mr. Soli,
I think it's going to be the Uzbeki who's going to get the chocolates. It's going to be close, though, as they head towards the finish line. It's whoever can hold the race together coming down this final stretch. I think the Uzbeki looks a bit tired. I think it's the Portuguese paddler who seems to be coming home the stronger. It's going to be incredibly close. I think it's going to be the Portuguese athlete. It is! Oh,
Ooh.
by
first time
the
I won.
Barest of margins, but he has held his race together. Let's check this out. It's very, very close, but I think the Portuguese athlete Cesar Soares has managed to hold his race together. I've got to say, Marty, I thought the Uzbeki was looking a little bit tired.
Yeah.
They've declared the winner, Cesar Soares. I'd be interested to see the final time, how much he ended up getting across the line by, but gee, it was a close finish. He seemed to take that last turn a lot smoother. Oh my God.
149.
149.58 to 150.02, so it's a tight margin, but that is a good win, a good result there for the Portuguese paddler, Cesar Soares, who has...
400ths of the second.
Yeah.
No,
500ths.
Yeah, five.
Just under 500ths of a second.
No, 5 tenths. Sorry.
Yeah.
4 tenths.
Whatever. It's a close result. It's a close result, and it's Portugal who take the glory. The only European who made it through to the final. He was through to the semi-finals. So he has...
His team is there waiting for him.
Yep.
Probably he'll be in the water soon.
Yeah. Do you think they'd give him a bit of leeway because it's a bit cold today, or they say, no, you're going swimming?
They'll push him in the water.
Yeah. Yep. No way of getting out of this. Cesar Soares. Remember that name.
Shake hands, the two guys.
Yep.
Good friendship.
Yep. That is a good picture. The two athletes, and what a great final we had, Marty.
Yeah.
A fitting race, wasn't it, for a final? Such a close result. Let's hope we get the same for the women now. They're about to...
It will be.
Should be, yeah. we're a little bit away, are we,
Oh.
from a start? The women aren't ready.
Oh, they didn't.
They didn't throw them in the water.
No.
Young generation these days, Marty, they're soft. Aren't they?
Ah, they are.
In the old days, in your days, they would have tied their legs together and thrown them in the water, wouldn't they?
Every time I won medal in the World Championships, I was in the water. Olympic Games, yeah, every time.
All right.
I was part of the celebration. So, bronze medal.
Bronze medal
Match.
race in the women. And it's the Czech Republic's Adela Hazova in boat A up against Hungary's Laura Ulfalvi in boat B. Are we saying that we tipping the Hungarian here?
I think so.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, Hazova has been impressive.
Yep.
But the Hungarians, they didn't overexert themselves in the semi-finals.
Yep.
Do you think that made a difference for the Uzbeki there in the final stretch? Maybe he needed to be a bit more race hardened, Marty. Maybe taking it easy wasn't the best solution because you
I'm not sure. Is it? Yeah. No. I mean, it's more.
hard rate. There's no.
I think the turns. Even he did good turn. He was going a little overrating compared to the Portuguese guy. Portuguese guy had nice and long strokes. Yeah, and you saw on the first turn there was some couple of vertical strokes which I thought he's going to swim, but he managed not to stay in the boat. I think that was something, but he still was first halfway, just a little on the second half. But again, we don't know how exact are the two turns. They should be quite close, but I don't think they're 100% same. So, but both of the athletes they passed the two turns, so it's it's not unfair because if the two turns are different, I mean both of them they go one turn another turn, so there's not unfair way.
No, it's not unfair, but there is. There is a distinct advantage in that one side of the course you're doing the turns. Both times you go around the turn, you might have the wind behind you. So boat A will have the wind behind her when she goes around this turn, and then when she goes around the turn at the bottom, she'll have the wind behind her again.
No, that's the same. No.
Huh? How's
No.
that the same?
Yeah, it is the same.
Okay, you have a look. Here she goes around here.
Yep.
She has the wind.
So far she had headwind, now start tailwind, which is opposite there. The wind is okay, just for the canoe it's a little different because one side you have close angle, another side it's straight, and depend if your left hand or right hand makes a little difference.
I think I'd prefer to be in boat A. I think I'd prefer to be on that side of the course. But anyway,
Yesterday I won from B.
We've finished talking about you. We're moving on now.
Hungarian girl is a little.
She's a little ahead here. This is Laura Ulfalvi from Hungary, just ahead of the Czech paddler Adela Hazova.
I think in the corner of our box I can see our Vice President, Mr. Konietzko, getting a little nervous for waiting for the big final with the German girl.
Well, he knows that you've tipped against her, so he's not going to be very happy with you if she doesn't.
No.
The goods.
I put my money on her.
Okay, here we go. This is the bronze medal race, and it looks as though you would.
So far, Hungarian girl is a little ahead, but the Czech girl is not far back.
No, it's going to be a nice close finish. I think it's going to be the Hungarian girl, or is it going to? Yeah, it should go to Hungary's Laura. Yep, there we go.
Just
nice, clear result in the end.
2 seconds difference
for Laura Uzfalvi from Hungary. She gets the bronze, or the third place, ahead of the Czech Republic's Adela Hazova.
Wow.
Doesn't look overly impressed and overly happy with that third placing, but she's probably feeling a little bit fatiguey, as we say in French, Marty. You'd know that, having done your French lessons. Fatiguey.
No, I haven't. So, not really. I mean, that's race number 4 for the whole day.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad for the young kids.
All right. Here we are. This is the final race of the day.
Okay.
The final race of the day.
Hungary or Germany?
You and I are both saying Germany, are we? I'm
Yeah.
saying Germany. I think Gina Zint has been impressive today.
So far, I think the Hungarian shows better times, but I put my money on Germany.
Yeah. Yep.
Mr. Konietzko, you put your money on Germany or Hungary?
What a silly question.
Germany or Hungary?
No, I'm German president.
No, okay.
Because for Germany.
What a
You're
silly
for
question.
Germany.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but she has been impressive. I've been impressed with her today. She's looked solid throughout. And,
Yeah.
and as I've mentioned in the heats this morning, she had the toughest of the conditions and her time was very, very competitive. So
Okay, off you
we're
go.
underway. It's the German Gina Zint in boat A against the Hungarian Esther Rendesi in boat B. Once again, the German quickly into her stride, she looks smooth in the water, doesn't she? Just impressive to watch. But the German's gone out quite fast. In fact, she's taken an early advantage here with the wind a little bit behind her. So
Hungarian go.
sorry, the Hungarian, and so taking advantage of the tailwind here as they go around the first bend. Not a lot in it though. The Hungarian going a little bit wide.
Yeah, white turn for Hungarian.
Yeah, around the turn. So
So it's a white turn for German as well. So let's see.
I think at this stage it'll be the Hungarian who's got the slight advantage as we get towards the halfway stage. In fact, opening out now to quite a nice little gap there for the Hungarian girl as we get to the halfway stage. But
Half a second ahead.
yep.
We
But
saw the change for in the C1.
yeah, but she's
Yeah,
about
it's, got to happen here.
she's about to turn straight into the breeze, straight into the face of this breeze. So that might slow her down a little bit. Whereas the German Gina Zint has got the breeze at her back as they head into this final turn, and then the
half a
race
boat
for
ahead.
gold. The race for gold will get serious. It is the Hungarian Rendesi who at this stage has her nose in front, but the German is closing fast. In fact, it's head to head,
No.
neck to neck. I think the German girl is picking her up, but it's going to come down to this final stretch. The Hungarian Rendesi
Yeah,
holding her nerve. She's putting her race together. The German putting in the long strokes, though. I think we're going to have a pretty close finish, Marty, but I think the Hungarian has got it.
Yep.
She's paddled a very, very balanced race and goes across the line. That is a good, strong win there for Esther Rendesi. What a great day's racing on her behalf.
Yeah.
Consistent all
That's
day
a good race.
and a really good, strong finish there. Hungarian women continue to show that they've got what it takes in women's kayak paddling. And is this a name we need to pencil in for the future to follow some of the great names in Hungarian women canoeing? Congratulations to Esther Rendesi from Hungary, the silver medal to Gina Zint from Germany, and the bronze also to Hungary to Laura Uzfalvi. What a great day's racing it has been. We hope that you've enjoyed the coverage. We'll be back tomorrow morning, Marty, with another great day's racing. The weather will not be as kind tomorrow, so there'll be some challenges out there for some of the athletes tomorrow. But are you looking forward to seeing the men's K1 and the women's C1 tomorrow?
Yep. I mean, my favorite events finished today.
The men's C1,
Men's
of course.
C1 and
Yep.
women K1. But tomorrow we'll enjoy the other two great events, men K1 and women C1.
8:30 tomorrow morning, Barcelona time, is when it all gets underway again. We hope you can join us live from
what is Barcelona time?
8:30 tomorrow morning.
What time is Barcelona?
8:30 it'll be tomorrow morning
Okay,
in Barcelona.
But Barcelona is part of Europe.
Yeah, but I'm talking about, you know what I'm
Central European time.
talking about. Please,
Central European time.
save me. Save me.
8:30.
Thank you for joining us today. CanoeICF.com is the place to go. You can check it out tonight. There's be some great photos up there and some interviews. Hopefully, I'm heading off now to see if I can track down a couple of our athletes for interviews for tonight, and some stories on what has happened. You can find out what they were thinking, how they feel about the results today. Thank you for
Happy
your coverage.
birthday, Ross.
Thank you, Martin Marinov. Thank
Happy
you very
birthday.
much. And
I see you getting older.
we'll see you tomorrow morning, 8:30.